Hey guys, this is Umi here, and today, I created. I've just finished this next drawing, and it has to do with this cool samurai story of war and just a lot of really cool, interesting stuff that I've been working on. And I spent a lot of time on this, and I thought a lot about it and how to lay it out and reveal that story. So here, I just wanted to show exactly what I was doing as I was thinking about what to draw here. So the story is about. It's an illustration of a story of a samurai and the soldiers that fight for the samurai. So the soldiers that fight for the samurai are called ashigaru. So we have like these two characters that I'm creating. So when I first started, I started with creating this character that I was imagining. Maybe he starts off the story here. Maybe he starts off like as a samurai, and he works his way up. And as the story progresses, he becomes more of a shogun with better armor, and maybe he becomes a better fighter over time. And then here we have this other character, the second character that I made. He's more like a pawn in the warfare. So he's the very typical soldier that instead of a samurai, he mostly holds a spear, and he will be like another part of the story. So the samurai uses his samurai sword. Most of the time, that's who he is as a samurai, and as the story progresses, he starts to get better as a fighter. He starts to grow and move up in the ranks, and even become a leader. And so his story progresses, and he gets better and better, and his life gets better and more powerful and just great for him. Whereas the ashigaru soldier here with the spear, as he progresses in the story, his story kind of diminishes. It starts to change it progresses in a worse way. And so the more he moves on in his story, the more I reveal that his life gets worse and worse. He starts losing soldiers. He starts to experience a lot of loss and grief, and that's a lot of the times that's what I'm showing here, is this contrast between someone who becomes a leader and grows in power, and contrast that with another character who is more like a peon and just a pawn, and how his life progressively gets worse and worse, and even questions his purpose in his war, and as he tries to overcome the mental fight against the war. So I think it's a cool story that I thought, oh, it'd be kind of cool to have a contrast between these two characters. And one character, so the samurai becomes just this amazing leader, and his life gets better and better, and he becomes more powerful and powerful, and he wins more wars. Whereas the other character, he is more of an assistant to the leader, but as he progresses in the story, he starts to lose his friends. he starts to experience loss. He loses a lot and suffers a lot. And this is just an interesting experiment of contrast with the characters. So the story is about contrasting the two characters' story. And then so I would depict the characters in different scenes. So I would show like the samurai kind of. So he starts off with just a lower class samurai, and he fights opponents, and as he fights opponents he wins and grows in his skills. And then eventually, if you notice, he would cut his hair so that I guess he moves up in his ranks, and he changes, his appearance starts to change, his armor starts to change, he gets better armor. And whereas the other character, he's more tossed into war after war, and he experiences more and more tragedy and more problems, more losses, and he's just navigating through that. And I've watched a lot of samurai shows, so that's probably why I've created this story, just for fun. And of course, behind it all, I really like to study the armor, so I wanted to make an excuse to draw more of the cool armor and the type of clothes, the type of weapons. And mostly that's what I do a lot in my sketches and these drawings. Not only do I make up the story, but it's a great way of practicing too alongside it. So I can kind of have fun making the story and think about, how can I make this cool? How can I make this interesting? And how can I tell a story while I practice and kind of reveal that? So I really like the way the characters look. And they're all based off some samurai shows I've seen on YouTube just for fun and just to reference and observe. And I'm constantly updating a lot of the way they look. So and it was really fun drawing a lot of this. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.